Well, hello and welcome to the aviary. I'm sure you can hear the birds in the background. Cheep, 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 cheep. What they're really screaming is help. Why did you put me in a cage? I have no life.
I tell you, open up the windows,
Stop it.
open up the
You
cages.
cannot survive if you do that.
You don't know that.
Oh, oh, this is a stupid bird. It would not survive. We would put it out the door and it would say cluck, cluck and get eaten by a squirrel.
Squirrel. Okay.
I'm telling you, it is that dumb.
Okay.
What I really want is for it to go to a nice aviary where it can have a nice big cage with lots of other little friends it can bother. Maybe it can learn a different note other than squawk, squawk, squawk. Anyway, hello, welcome to Chubs Gone Wild, episode 371, recorded on November 30th, 2020. It is currently 57 degrees outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, where it is 10 days till Hanukkah, 21 till solstice, 25 till Christmas, 26 till Kwanzaa, 32 until the year 2021. 2021, oh my gosh. 335 until Halloween, 360 until the next Thanksgiving, and only 51 days to President Biden.
Well, you also forgot one day to World AIDS Day.
Well, that was coming up when we were going to be talking about.
Okay, give me notes ahead of time.
You know
then.
what? You just. Okay. So anyway, if anyone has noticed my background while looking at the video, which more of you need to do, because we're beautiful and you want to touch yourself while looking at us. Anyway, it is World AIDS Day tomorrow, and our theme is Rock the Ribbon. That's right, Rock the Ribbon Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. You know, it's really odd. When you go to worldaidsday.org or whatever it is, all the stuff that's on there is linked from Britain. Like, when did they take over?
Probably 4 years ago.
I was gonna say maybe sometime when ours got shut down because the government, said we don't acknowledge this anymore. Anyway, all right, moving on. So yeah, we got that coming up. Coming up soon, President Biden.
Wait, what's on your wrist?
What's on my wrist?
Yeah, what?
Restraints. No, I'm doing Travolta in Staying Alive. No, they're wrist weights to strengthen your wrists.
I thought jacking off did that.
That's only one. That's kind of a problem because then you end up with one Stallone arm and, well, one Ren and Stimpy arm. So yeah. Anyway. Moving on, so today we celebrate special, wonderful days, including Cities for Life. I don't know what that is. Computer security, Cyber Monday. So this is a day when you're supposed to go out and buy cybers.
No.
No? What?
No.
No. We're supposed to shop online?
Well, that would help.
Okay. Also, National Mason Jar Day. Are you into mason jars?
Well, for some things, yeah.
Okay. I know that a lot of people like to drink out of them.
No, that's too much.
Okay. Also, today is National Methamphetamine Day. Oh, Awareness Day.
Oh. Damn.
I know. I was going to say, we're missing out on that one there. Also, National Moose Day. And this isn't moose as in moose pea, because every day is Moose Pea Day. But no, this is like chocolate mousse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could totally get into some mousse. And this kind of mousse too.
Some cream on that?
Yeah, there would definitely be cream on that. Anyway, let's see. Also, it's National Personal Space Day, which is what Moose is probably saying right now. And then also National Stay at Home Because You're Well Day. Girl, that's like this whole year. Okay. Also,
well, you know what? Look, I want to say something there.
Okay.
All we heard about for years were people going, Oh my life is so busy. I never have any time at home. I don't have any time with my kids, my wife, my husband, whatever. I have, no time for my garden. I feel like I'm a stranger. I go to work and then I come home and eat dinner and then I'm in bed and then I just repeat it day after day. And so people have gotten this wonderful chance to spend a lot of time at home, getting to meet their spouse, getting to meet their
Yes.
families, and they're all complaining about it.
Oh my God, I never knew my wife was a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a problem.
Also, let's see. Perpetual. Actually, one of the things that they're saying is, and I've been hearing this more and more, is that well, number one, our hospitals in the local area, and you said this the other day as well, but I saw it again by one of the doctors that I follow that work in a local, well, Davis, UC Davis. Anyway, everything is full. Everything is full and it's getting worse. And now that so many millions of people did not listen to the stay at home and don't get together for family stuff this Thanksgiving, they expect that it's going to fucking skyrocket.
Right. So you don't trust me when I say it from actually knowing what's going on.
I did trust you, but
Did you?
This doctor just emphasized what you had already said, and it just
so because he's got a degree. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
No, it has nothing to do with the degree because Sean has a degree and he works it there. The fact is that this is a very, very attractive doctor.
You're a whore.
Yes, especially for this one. Very attractive. And the thing was, actually, I'm going to go ahead and share this. So he's a very attractive Jewish doctor. And he was talking about on a thread this morning about how he had somebody that came in through the ER who was going, had COVID and could barely breathe. And their whole team, which is made up of very diverse people, including a Black nurse, and he's a Jewish doctor and everything. And they open up the guy's shirt and they start prepping him for breathing stuff. And he's got a huge SS tattooed all over his chest, and all of his tattoos are like swastikas and stuff. And the guy's looking at him saying, "Do whatever you can to save me, doc." And he's just like, he has to overlook all that crap and the fact that this guy was probably an anti-masker and out there doing all these rallies and doing all this shit. I'm sorry, did you take a poo? No, doing all this shit, and now he's begging somebody who he could probably want to spit on to save his life. And he does it because that's what he does. He's a doctor. He made this commitment, and he's going to save this guy who's probably a complete asshole. Anyway, just food for thought out there. All right, it's also National Perpetual Youth Day, which Tom likes to believe that he has. That was cute. All right, next up here, today's affirmation: I have the knowledge to make smart decisions for myself.
Do you? Do you really?
Well, I think probably not.
Yeah.
All right, patreon.com. At least I'm a little better equipped than some of the people out there, at rallies not wearing masks.
Swastikas on?
Yes. All right. Excuse me. Patreon offers folks a way to support creators like us and receive rewards not open to the general public, like public special podcasts, books, videos, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Starsage from Univaz, Timothy, Eric, Juan Carlos, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. Thank you. Please visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame if you would like to become a supporter of the show for as little as $1 a day. All right. Well, it's time for birthdays.
Wait, $1 a day? Don't you mean $1 a month?
Stop it. We'll take whatever we can get. No, yeah, $1 a month.
$1 a day.
Whatever.
You got to have, remember, you got to get that kind of money, you got to have like a shivering dog. We really do.
What? Oh, don't be mean to puppies. All right. Today's birthday is coming up. Well, today and this week are.
Did you just poop?
Yeah. Well, that's what you did earlier.
No,
I
went
saw you poo.
No, you make that face.
That's why you have the background so nobody sees the toilet.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
For you. All right, we got birthdays coming up, including Tim, Devin, Gina, Alex, Philip, Rob of the Robs, Talbot, Frank, Chris, Jeffrey, Noel, Jackie, Robbie, Buse. Oh, I hope I'm not mispronouncing that horribly, but you're probably a spam person too. Mark, Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Oh, Deshaun. We've got Felicity, John, Matt. A lot of people having sex and having babies around this time, right? Oh, we got that Taylor co-pilot from Pod is my co-pilot. Taylor, he's going to be old. Also, we got Bailey and Ron Williams, who's an absolutely amazing historian, librarian, historian, and has written a number of books about the let's just say gay history from like 50s, 60s, 70s, stuff like that, and then a lot of personal experiences of him just meeting really famous gay people and being in just really interesting. Ron Williams, go look up his books. They're fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Total slice of our gay history. Who's he, what's it, where were we? All right, moving on.
I don't know. We were trying to figure out somebody's bio, I guess. What?
You got anything in the feedback?
No.
Oh, okay. You got any chub hugs?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's just send a general chub hug to everybody out there. Sound good?
Yeah, and remember, the vaccine is out there. It's, they're going to bring it out in a couple weeks to medical workers and to, people who are risky, to get COVID, and then it'll roll out. This is not the time for people to be careless.
Right.
I'm really tired of this. Well, the what is it called? COVID. What do they call it? It's
herd immunity.
No. They're saying that people are so tired of being locked in that they've got COVIDs. There's what?
Burnout? I don't.
Basically, they've got COVID burnout. Okay. And so they're doing risky things that are done because, there's a vaccine coming. But the vaccine is going to be a couple months out. This is not the time to go, hey, we don't need a mask anymore. We got the vaccine coming. Because the thing is, if you get COVID, you're going to have 3 weeks before it kicks in hard, and you're not going to have that vaccine yet.
Right.
So calm down.
Well, not only that, but let's not forget that it's not going to just roll out to everybody.
Right.
It's going to be, to the people who need it the most to help us in case we get it. Anyway, scary stuff. All right. Hey, how was your Thanksgiving?
Fine.
Okay. I guess you'll talk about it in your week, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. That was what I was going to talk about. Now you've ruined it.
Oh, well, my Thanksgiving was just delightful. Got up and I cooked a turkey and I cooked some.
Now, didn't you say that your turkey
already
about 2 hours earlier?
What?
Didn't you say your turkey should have been started about 2 hours earlier?
Well, yeah. So I got up and I made some stuffing and dressing or whatever.
Hey, wait. What time did you get up?
I got up a little after 9.
Okay,
So
that's
I'm
good to
halfway
hear.
through the dressing, and then everybody decides that they're doing something that need me. So I have to turn off the dressing. I have to help other people, and then I have to come back to the dressing, finish the dressing, cook the dressing for an hour, and then get the bird in. And then the bird ended up not being done until about 4:30. So by then, Mother was heading to bed, and Lurie was making wonderful things on himself, and so yeah. Anyway, so but it was a wonderful dinner. Food came out wonderfully. Pies were beautiful. Just everything was great.
Everything looked really brown.
Well, it's Thanksgiving. It's nature. The corn was yellow.
Barely.
Oh, well, I'm sure everything that you had looked very colorful, like blue and green, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
gorgeous.
beautiful. Anyway, if you're done, got the trees out yesterday and put them together. They're not decorated yet, but they are put together. Small steps. Um, got a new bed day before yesterday. So I've been complaining that my bed has just been so uncomfortable and just falling apart for months and months and a year at least. And so my dear, darling friend Clint, went out and bought a full bed for me instead of the queen size. And it's got a really good solid frame, which anybody who is with a chub or a chub knows you need a bed that's going to fucking hold up to your fat self. And that's not negative, that's the truth, right? Can I get an amen?
Well, I don't quite like the way you termed that, but okay.
Okay. So I got a bed that stands up to my fat self. And it's a nice solid metal frame. The slats that are under it are like smaller, thicker slats. So, and then under that is cinder block. So Tom's going, fat man needs a cinder block. Well, look, bitch, I was not taking chances. I said, if you're going to get me a bed, thank you, but you better have some damn lug nuts and reinforcement cinder block under that shit. And so he did. And yeah, so in case the slats break as I turn over and go poof.
Well, they're all so much thicker. Well, how could they? Those
No.
slats. I mean, yeah, they're reinforced slats.
Yeah. So they're
So
going.
wait, where's the cinder block? Is it actually under the slats?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 2 rows of cinder block under it. So that way, if any of the slats break, which I seriously doubt they actually will because they're nice and thick, then it'll just fall bloop right onto that, and I'll still be just fine. But the mattress is very squishy. It's one of those like the whole thing is just a big piece of memory foam, basically.
Oh,
So it's kind of like I sink into it, and the heavier you are, the more you sink.
yeah.
So anyway, we'll be getting a firmer mattress, but for the most part, I am very, very happy with the base and thankful that he went out and he did that for me as my Yule present. So, all right, let's see. I watched the Garfield Thanksgiving and Christmas specials, tradition, and were absolutely fun. I finished The Crown season 4, which was so far the most depressing season. My favorite character is Princess Anne. The actress playing her is absolutely perfectly wonderful. I love it. And then let's see. Some of the episodes, most are just awesome and you're just riveted. And then some of them, there's a couple episodes that just fucking drag on. And then there's a couple parts of episodes that are about Diana that are meant to drag on to give you the feeling of how isolated and just had days and weeks and months of nothing, no stimulation, nobody talking to her, nothing. and those were just like equally as depressing. Um, they have an excellent cast. Of course, the woman playing the queen, you'd know who she was, but I can't remember the movie that she did, so I can't tell you. But
Olivia Coleman.
she won a big award for it, though. Do you know who I'm talking about at all?
I just said her name.
What was it?
Olivia Coleman.
Yes, I love her. I love everything she does.
Except her name.
Well, yeah, I don't need to know names.
Okay.
Anyway, but she's absolutely fabulous. She's fabulous as the queen. But what was I going to say? So the only other thing, so I would say that if you're following, you're going to love season 4. But yeah, be ready for some episodes that are just slag to get through. Also, before the episodes where Diana's like vomiting, they're all like, oh, trigger warning, something may be disturbing, and if they're vomiting, oh my god, and if you feel that you have trouble with vomiting and bulimia, and then call this hotline or something like that. Now, I'm not making fun of it, but I am making fun of the warning that they had to put a trigger warning up there to show Diana vomiting, which we all know frickin' happened already. But they don't throw anything up there for when they, kill animals or dead people or whatever else. But, oh my God, there's a woman throwing up. It's going to disturb the world. So, anyway. I have not been into anything holiday-wise yet, really. So they put up Survivor 28 and 20 on Netflix. And so I was just in the mood and I watched Survivor 28 and it started me down my Survivor path again. So now I've also watched season 1, which is available on Amazon. And then there are all of the seasons available on Amazon except for like 10 of them. And for those 10, they're blocked unless you do CBS All Access, which is now available through Amazon on a 30-day free trial. So if you do the free trial through then, you can watch all the seasons that are blocked. Anyway, so I am almost done with season 2. I'm really enjoying it right now. So I'm going to try to make it through all the seasons. And the only other thing I was going to bring up is David Pakman. David Pakman, the absolute political hottie on YouTube. If you are trying to digest all the politics through the transition and everything, and you want it in straightforward, easy ways that don't make you feel fucking depressed and hopeless, look up David Pakman on YouTube. It's excellent way to do it. And now Tom is going to talk about getting ducked.
Okay, well, what happened was we smoked our turkey. So that was something different that we had not had before. Well, we didn't really do turkey before. Sean did it a few years ago, but he took it to work, so I never really got to try it. So anyway, it was interesting. But we had this duck in the freezer. So we took the duck out, and I didn't have enough room in the smoker, so I decided just to roast a duck. Now, I've had duck at Chinese food, Chinese restaurants.
Yeah.
Like Peking duck and different duck dishes, but I've never had roast duck. Oh my God. Have you ever had duck skin?
No. I haven't had any duck at all, I don't think.
Okay. It's like, I mean, it's like chicken skin, but it's got so much more taste, and it's like you've never tasted anything so good, really. And
yeah,
then
did you leave it almost raw when you cooked it?
What?
Well, you're supposed to cook duck very rare.
If you can, That's especially if you're doing just a duck breast.
Mm.
You're a little more control with it. Roast duck is a little different. To get the crispiness of the outside skin, you actually have to cook it a while.
Mm.
But the other part is you need to render all the fat out of the skin because they're quite fatty.
Mm.
And then that duck fat is like gold. It is like gold, girl. You
Mm.
would just not believe how yummy that fat is. I took a tablespoon of the fat and added it to some carrots
Mm-hmm.
that we had cooked carrots over the weekend, and it was like, oh my god, it was so good. I can't even tell you how good it was.
Yeah.
It was but otherwise it was just a pretty simple Thanksgiving. But what we did do over Thanksgiving was watch a shitload of movies. Because basically all the streaming places are adding movies for Thanksgiving, and then they'll be adding more movies over the next few weeks for things like Oscar consideration.
Mm.
So, and they know people are home, so they bring in, since they don't have movies at the theater, might as well get the movies to the streaming services. So the first one we watched was brand new on Netflix. It's the new Ron Howard movie called Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's with Glenn Close and with Amy Adams, about a kind of, well, basically a Appalachian family that moves to Ohio, and they work for the steel mills, and but the young son, he ends up getting to a point where he's going to Yale to become a lawyer, and but he keeps gets pulled back into the family business, not business, but back to the family because mom's on heroin, grandma's trying to burn grandpa, his sister has 45 kids, so as he's trying to better his life, he keeps getting pulled back. So we get to meet the whole family over quite a few years of hillbilly life. Basically, it's some of it's very funny, but a lot of it's just really tragic. So I like the performances and stuff like that, but it's just it's not your feel good movie that you were hoping for. But it's Netflix, and it's Ron Howard, and Glenn Close is amazing in it, so it's worth giving a watch. Then we finally saw Fantasy Island. This is the remake of the TV series, and oh my god, oh my god, you would not believe how awful this movie is. Instead of in the old, you remember the old Fantasy Island? It was usually, oh, I want to find romance, or the child that I gave away when I was a young girl, and it was always something fluffy and happy. Well, in this case, it's be careful what you wish for. One of the girls is looking for revenge, but at the same point, she doesn't want to get too revengey, but that's not what she asked for. So she turns from getting revenge on a friend to saving the girl from being killed because, well, you weren't specific enough with your fantasy. And so, but anyway, it's a good concept, but terrible, terrible movie. I mean, sure, there was a few laughs in it. There's a bit scary in it, but the twist at the end, I was like throwing shit at the TV. It was so bad. That was on Epic. Um, then we watched a movie called Run, which is on Hulu. It's Sarah Paulson, and in this movie, she plays a mother who nearly lost her child in childbirth, and so now she's very overprotective. The girl's in a wheelchair. She's got diabetes. She's got asthma. She's feeding her pills all the time, and then all of a sudden, the girl gets a new pill, and she checks and sees what the new pill is, and has her mother's name on the pill. So now she's starting to think that her mother may be poisoning her. And it kind of turns into kind of a misery.
Mm-hmm.
They live remotely. The mother doesn't, she teaches the girl online, she's homeschooling her. There's no Wi-Fi. It's there's moments that's very, very scary, but like I said, it feels kind of like a misery because the girl's in a wheelchair and mom has the keys, that type of thing. And that's on Hulu. Now on HBO is 1917. This is the movie that was up for Best Picture last year.
Oh yeah.
That a lot of people thought was going to win.
Mhm.
Oh my God, this movie is so boring. I mean, what happens is these two soldiers are told that they need to get to across the country, well, through the countryside to get to this other team of soldiers, a big team of soldiers that are getting ready to do a big raid on a Nazi hold. But what's happening is the Nazis have another plan, and the overheads know, when they fly the planes over, they see what the Nazis are doing, but they can't get in contact with this other group. So they have to send these two guys who literally are walking to this other place over a 24-hour period, and it is so boring because most of the time they're just talking, blah 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 blah, and it's just back and forth dialogue. Who cares? Who cares? But the cinematography was amazing, and the special effects were really cool because the special effects were all special effects that you have to choreograph and do because they're not CGI. They're actually, when the bombs are going off, they've got bombs going off. They've got, tunnels collapsing on them, with dirt and with explosions. And it's not just, okay, just run in front of the green screen and do this a lot. So, but boring all the same. I saw Little Women. That's the new Little Women that came out last Christmas. And are you familiar with Little Women? Have you seen the other ones?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's so much better because, first of all, they kind of give it more of a feminist point of view instead of, oh, we need to stay home and be good women, that type of thing.
And so married, and then
even the Joe character in the old movies is kind of like, got to follow the rules, got to be the good girl. And in this one, the Joe character is much more of a feminist, really stands up to men. It's just, and then the other girls are less irritating.
Oh, that's good because man, were they in the others?
Well, and I was talking to Brian about this. The reason why they were in the other ones is because it was always who is the latest girl actors, on television series or at movie theaters, the throwaway actresses, but they're popular. So let's do a Little Women and put a lot of mediocre actresses together and make a movie. It's like, no, the actresses were really superior in this one. So it's a much better version. It was good. And then I saw one called Super Intelligence. This is the new Melissa McCarthy movie, new on HBO Max. Directed.
Yes,
it didn't go to theaters. It came directly to HBO Max. It was, the storyline basically is a supercomputer has become aware, and the super intelligence is trying to decide what to do with humans because we're terrible. And so it's like, do I destroy the earth or do I, I don't know, what do I do? I'm not sure what to do. Let me watch Melissa McCarthy's character, who's considered very average, and depending on what she does with her life will depend on whether or not I destroy the earth. So no, it was actually quite funny. I mean, it's back in the 70s, they always had the supercomputer that was, even war games kind of thing. They even have a war games, little, tip of the hat to war games in this one. That was super funny. And fortunately, Melissa McCarthy's husband, Ben, I don't remember his last name, is directing this. And when he directs her, he controls her. So it's not a lot of Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell and Robin Williams going off the edge kind of comedy. It's like, it's very restrained and quite funny at times. Bobby the really cute actor, what's his name? Collivan, Bobby, remember Will's husband?
Yes.
First husband.
I forget how to pronounce it, but I know who you mean, girl.
Yeah. So he's her boyfriend, and so that was kind of fun. But that was good too. And then finally, we watched the new Doctor Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr. that came out, I think, in February, right before the lockdown. And it's not a musical, which is good. And it's basically Doolittle became a big recluse after his wife was killed or died, and so what's happening is the queen has been poisoned, and so Doolittle has and his band of animals have to go and get this special fruit that will cure all, and so to save the queen. And basically, the people who tried to kill the queen are trying to make sure he doesn't make it. But the animal voices are all really good, and it was entertaining. It was terrible, but it was entertaining. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So, and I think, well, for those out there who are into Big Mouth, the Netflix series, the animated series, season 4 does come out this Friday, so I'm very excited about that. And let's see. Oh, they did give the name of the Mandalorian's Yoda baby. Baby Yoda.
Oh.
Yeah, the Baby Yoda's name is Grugo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Grugo. It's funny. Patton Oswalt on Twitter is going, "Oh my God, how many nerds are going to be naming their kids Grugo now?"
Oh gosh.
So, yeah, other than that, the girls are doing fine. They've been planted and put into their new, their big pots. So, yeah, and so that's good. Everything's great. It's just colder than fuck outside for this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're getting nights are into the 30s and the 20s, and Sacramento is not used to that.
Nope.
And we're not getting any rain either. That sucks. I blame that on you, though.
That's me all over, stopping the rain whenever I can.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you got anything else?
Go.
Give me one sec here. Had to complete that.
We got Christmas coming up, and
We do.
What's a suggestion you could make for people who want to, like shop online?
You know what? I would make a suggestion for Wonder Woman ornaments.
I was thinking maybe buying from Fat Marker.
Oh my God, that's even better. What a great suggestion. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that first, okay? Because they like to remind us to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be us. Because they want those of us who've always been, told that we're too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And you can do that over at fatmarkerclothing.com by using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything over on the site, which I did. And we'll talk about that later in the month. Anyway, but I loved it. Absolutely fast shipping. What I ordered was awesome. And we'll talk about that later in the month as well. But anyway, fatmarkerclothing.com. Go over, check them out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Hey, so we got a couple topics coming up here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Before we get into current topics, we got some topics. So Mr. Mr. Moo. I like that. Hey, Mr. Moose had sent us a couple things, including one thing that did not make it into the last show. So let's make up for that now. He sent some German chocolate. Well, I guess I really wanted some Diet Coke because I said German chocolate Coke, but it's cake because he really needed it. Also, good training session today, so treated myself to a hearty lunch appetizer of tomato basil soup entree with a rare filet topped with blue cheese and butter. Sides, red skin mashed potatoes and mixed vegetables. Hmm. And
Well,
those
everything
photos
looks
are,
good, but that horrible cheese on the steak.
I know you don't care for that for sure. I don't mind it though. I like blue cheese. But those photos are already up over at facebook.com/Chubs Gone Wild. So everybody can go check that out
I
right
did
now.
the German chocolate cake. The frosting looks kind of deconstructed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you got the traditional frosting, and it looks like coconut in it, but then the nuts aren't mixed into the frosting. They're actually topping
Mm,
the thing, and it's quite beautiful.
yeah, it really is. And I have not had a German chocolate cake in I don't know how long. Anyway, all right. Hey, so
Mm.
getting into our current topics, Joe Biden names a gay man as White House social secretary. Um, so Carlos Elizondo is an out gay man and has been named White House social secretary by the incoming Biden administration. He was social secretary for President-elect Joe Biden when Biden was vice president. During the Obama administration, another out gay man, Jeremy Bernard, was named as White House social secretary. So he was the first person in that position that was an openly gay man. And that just goes to show that you need gay men to host social events.
Yeah, what it means is that you need to hire more gay men,
Well,
openly gay men. Put them in. See this is the thing. It's like on television. If we saw more diverse television, then we would be less afraid of diversity. And the same thing. It's just wonderful. They've hired open lesbian, which you probably have later on in here, who's also on the people who are those people that talk what do you call those people?
the Speaker of the House. No,
No, that's a different thing.
the White House Speaker. The Speaker.
Yeah, like that horrible girl that's there now.
Ugh.
Um, but it's but he hired a full staff of women, and one of them is an openly gay lesbian, and she's really cool. She's usually on MSNBC talking about subjects. She goes on there as a pundit. So I already know she's very cool. So go ahead and finish.
I like cool lesbians, like
Yeah.
Susan Westenhofer. Cool lesbian. Kate Clinton. Cool lesbian. But I did not have that in here. Actually, the next story is California is actually named after a black lesbian queen. So unbeknownst to most people, the state of California was named after Califia. I don't know. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sure. Anyway, but it was a fictional black queen who ruled over a mythic all-female island of black women just off the coast of Asia. And she used an army of flying griffins to fight Christians at Constantinople, and has become an interesting yet little known literary figure ever since. And that's actually how the Spanish conquistadors came over, and they named California after her. And well, that just makes us even more awesome, right?
Sure.
Anyway, hey Chubs, Scotty Mac wants to know, what were your favorite 1970s TV shows?
Well, during that, what happened to you? Stop that. Stop that.
What?
Anyway, when it was in the 70s, that would have been like the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family. My favorite night of the week was Friday nights, because that had Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, Nanny and the Professor, Ghost of Mrs. Muir, Room 222, and Love American Style.
In the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must have been early 70s with the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said 70s. What?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
for some, my brain just went to 69 and
Of course.
start till 70s.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I was just a wee little lad. So Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, Mork and Mindy, that whole production set, that was my go-to. The Jeffersons, I didn't understand. All in the Family. I was a little too young to kind of get it. But any Three's Company, anything like that, I was right there, man. Yeah, but I'll tell you now, anything British 70s, I pretty much love comedic wise. Anyway, hey, Chubs, peppermint or cinnamon?
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of either. I mean, because they're so strong. They're really strong flavors and scents. I would probably say I like cinnamon more than peppermint, though. Yeah, it's like I'm not really a big fan of like peppermint ice cream, or I do like an occasional what are they, chocolate covered peppermint, the discs, candy.
Oh, like Andy's candies or peppermint patties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while I'll have one, but I can't eat that all the time. But then, I like the cinnamon, and it smells nice, and it's very holiday-ish. I love at the grocery store, they always have the pine cones that are covered in cinnamon smell.
Yeah.
And so you just bring that home and throw it on the fireplace, and the whole living room smells like Christmas. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, peppermint. Cinnamon, even the smell of a really strong cinnamon can give me heartburn.
You're kidding.
No. In fact, when you're talking about throwing cinnamon on the fire and stuff, I'm just thinking, oh, I'm gonna have heartburn. But yeah, I do like cinnamon. I think it's a good flavor, but peppermint has always been my go-to for that. So peppermint patty.
Lesbian.
What's that?
She was a lesbian.
I know, that's that, and that's the peppermint patty I was thinking about.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Oh,
Marcy.
You're weird, Marcy. All right. Well, tomorrow is World AIDS Day, and we want to take a moment to remember and think about all the folks that we have lost over the years to HIV and AIDS, and just that's a tough subject. But tomorrow is World AIDS Day. Please give generously to one of your local HIV charities if you're able to. And if not, please post and get awareness out there, because we want to stop the spread of this by 2030. It's time to get rid of HIV and AIDS. All right. Speaking of, currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with HIV Community Planning Council, want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, is a medication that has proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. If you think PrEP might be right for you, visit your local sexual health clinic. If you reside in Sacramento, California, contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started on protecting your sexual health today. And also, here's something that came up. So I have a couple people that I know that were asking me about PrEP and getting on PrEP. And the only thing that concerned them was that of taking a medication that, you know, it may have side effects depending on how it reacts with you. And there's also a thing, well, there's also PEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis, which you take directly after you think you might have been exposed. But there is also another version of PrEP that is a 3-day PrEP, where you take it the day before you're going to be hooking up, the day that you hook up, and the day after you hook up. And so there's a thought that that 3-day window will protect you. But that is something that you really want to talk to your doctor about. But it is some information that's, you know, and out there that you might want to think about if you are out engaging, which you should not be because it's fucking COVID going on. Just let you know. Right? Okay. Yeah, I know that you're going visual, but we also have the audio portion, so.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, hey, so dear Prudy, I have been with my husband for 10 years, but we have always been mismatched sexually. We have a good life together. I love him, and I want to stay together both for his sake and for our child's. However, I need more than a half-hearted sex once a year. After begging and prancing around in expensive lingerie for months, I have talked about this with my husband probably every year since we got together. I've cried, asked for counseling, tried to do what he wants, but I get nothing. There's very little sexual affection in our relationship, and I have to believe that that is all he's capable of. Well, this past summer, it became clear that a good friend and I have serious chemistry. He is in a similar situation at home, and we have discussed the idea of a mutually beneficial, strictly sexual relationship. It would allow us to both some relief. I considered discussing this with my husband, but I think he would react badly. I have no desire to remain celibate for the rest of my life, which seems to be what my husband wants. This seems to be a reasonable solution. It gives me some hope. I realize there's a possibility of harming those I love, but I believe it is minimal. Am I crazy?
Yes, you're crazy.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the situation could work out and it could be fine, but in most cases, when you open, well, yeah, in a lot of cases, I won't say in most, a lot of cases when you open up a relationship, even if it's just strictly sexual with one of the partners, it can go sideways really badly because that person sees that they can have a relationship and a sexual relationship in the same relationship, where she's not getting it from the husband. Yeah, it's not as, let's say it's just not as simple as she's making it out to be. There could be a lot, you know, she wants to stay with her husband and her child, but that could, you know, this could fuck it up. It's a tightrope. It's really something you need to be careful with, depending on what you want. But if she needs to be sexual, then she maybe needs to do this.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's not just your family that you need to take into consideration, it's the other person's family as well.
Sure.
You know, because there's more than just you and your needs. In a situation like that, I would almost say don't do that with somebody that's a family, with like a friend of your family. Like, if you've got to do that, go find someone outside of your sphere. And it just sucks because it's a really hard situation, and I've seen that with a number of friends, and it's led to affairs and divorces and stuff. People, you know, that is a very important part of who we are. And if you have somebody that wants you to be completely monogamous, and yet they won't give you the sexual part that you need, it puts you in a very tough situation. especially
Right.
since we are such sexual creatures. My question would be, especially since I guess maybe they didn't seek counseling, would be if there's something more going on with the husband, like asexuality or, you know, closet queen or, something more going on than just I don't want to have sex. And
But then the other couple are having the same situation, but in reverse.
right, but it seems to be more common in women. Is that a bad thing for me to say?
Um,
That some
probably
women are just like
probably
kind of
not.
done with the sex thing.
Right. Well, I think that yeah. I mean, they say it's more common that women lose, you know,
Yeah,
uh, lose sexuality in their life faster than men do. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's always been the kind of societal understanding, but who knows if that's as I know the sun on your face, but who knows if that's as accurate as is reported. Anyway, doesn't matter. Point being, if you're gonna go outside the relationship, try to open it up first and talk to your husband about it. And if that doesn't go well, try not to cheat if with anyone inside your own circle. It's just
Well,
not gonna come out well.
yeah. I mean, has she even mentioned this to her husband before?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, he could be all for it. Really?
Could
You would
be.
not get out of doing it all the way. And if I let you go out and have sex,
Right. In
he
10
may be all for
years,
that.
you're at the point where you're only getting it kind of maybe once a year. That's that's rough.
Well, how's it been for you?
I'm not telling you, and I'm not in a relationship, so I don't have anything to feel guilty about. Anyway, moving on. Dear Prudy had to say, if you
Yes.
believe the possibility of fallout is minimal here, it is only because you are delirious from years of involuntary celibacy. You want to have sex with a good friend who is also married and whom you'll presumably have to see socially, while also maintaining the fiction that you two aren't having an affair, you slut. I mean, she didn't say that, just affair. You believe your husband would react badly if you tried to find sexual satisfaction outside of your marriage. Yet he's not only refusing to have sex with you, it sounds like he can barely bring himself to hug you. You anyway. Uh, I'm sympathetic to your position, but I think the solution you're contemplating is probably going to end quite dramatically. Your husband has watched you cry, beg, and put yourself on display for a little affection, little physical affection, and he's not willing to give it to you himself, or you believe he'd react badly if you tried to seek it elsewhere. It's one thing to be honest about disparate sex, disparate, disparate, not desperate, sex drives. It's quite another to see your partner in anguish and desperation and to respond with indifference. I don't see how he can be a good husband, and I doubt sexlessness is your only problem. If you are determined to stay married, then you should openly propose alternative sexual arrangements and not convince yourself that an affair would be reasonable when it's likely to blow up in your face. But ultimately, I don't think you have a good life together, and I think you'd be better off leaving your husband, working on maintaining a cooperative co-parenting relationship, and having sex with whomever you please.
Wow.
Ah, I can't believe she didn't just, I mean, once she got done with the slut shaming,
Right.
she basically said, you need to leave your husband. And she didn't
You're a whore,
sit
and
your
you're
husband
never going to
down
find
and say
satisfaction.
thus unto him.
Yeah. Terrible. Terrible.
I I think that's pretty good advice, actually, past the slut shaming.
Right. Did you hear that One Day at a Time got canceled again?
I'm not surprised. I didn't think it would last long on pop.
Well, I mean, Pop did really well with Schitt's Creek. But I think this is the situation that a lot of people forget when, shows get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And when shows get canceled, and that is that, if there's not an audience for it, you cannot expect the studios to keep them, if they can't keep their head above water, you can't expect them to keep throwing money at shows that aren't getting an audience. And I'm not saying it's not a good show. I'm
Well,
not
no,
saying it at all.
it's an excellent show. I mean,
Right.
I'm not just talking. I mean, you know me, I like shows, even if they're not that good. Sometimes I'll just like shows, but this was a quality show.
Right.
However, you cannot have it go from Netflix, where it actually did pretty damn well, but just not up to what they decided they arbitrarily wanted. But you can't throw something like that onto like Pop Network, which I'm sorry, hardly anyone's really heard of. And they would have had to have gone to network TV, and they probably would have done well. But you throw them onto a Pop Network, and then you're like, oh well, we'll put them on CBS Access or
Well,
whatever.
how did you like the
People
new
lose track
season?
of it. Nobody wants to try to follow that.
How did you like the new season?
They've only had out 6 episodes.
Okay, well, I guess
I finish it, and they were quality episodes. Even the cartoon one, which I usually hate cartoon episodes,
right.
was really good, really well done.
I know, but still, it really comes down. This is like when a restaurant in town closes, and everyone's like, "Oh no, I love that restaurant. Oh my God, it's just not going to be the same without that restaurant." And when was the last time you were there? Oh, like 20 years. I haven't been there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, it really comes down. And my point here is not about quality or what network it goes on. It's if the audience isn't there for the show, then you can't expect the show to survive. And that goes whether it's TV or streaming services or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that you can't bitch about something if you're not going to support it.
Right, and that's the thing with this is that I knew it was going to go down because nobody's going to watch it on Pop. Look at what happened with Mad About You. They did all this hype and everything that they were coming out, and with the new episodes and everything else, and everybody was so excited for it, and it appeared and went, and nobody even realized that it had happened.
Well, because I didn't even know what station it was on.
It was on some weird ass little thing owned by one of the networks, and they did nothing for it. And it sat there, it did its 12 episodes, and then it disappeared. And it not only that, but when you go to certain places to find certain things that you can't find in other places on the internet,
okay,
it wasn't even there. It was a fluke that it was even found so that I could watch it. It's just, and it's sad because it actually was really, really well done, and it was a great follow-up to the series.
Well, and once again, this is all about there's just so much out there too.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're absolutely right. There is so much out there.
I mean, look at that. What was the name of Gabi or whatever the streaming service that just fell apart?
Wasn't that the gay one?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No, not here. I'm talking about the one that they put $2 billion worth of shows out, and nobody would sign up for it. And they've all got to be very careful because they are stretching the audience now. Yeah. I mean, you got HBO Max, and you got a Peacock, and you got CBS Access, and you've got Disney Plus, and I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think even some of the bigger ones, and I'm not talking like Netflix and stuff like that, but some of the bigger ones that we've been seeing do okay are probably going to collapse after a while, especially as we go on, and who knows how much longer we're going to, because once COVID comes up, everybody is going to have to rush to get back into production.
Right.
to have stuff to come out for in a couple years.
Well, it was funny. I was watching. They were talking about The Apprentice, and when it first started, they were getting like 20 million viewers an episode, and when it finished, they were getting about 4 million viewers an episode. But then over the time period, that's actually kind of what happened. I mean, there was a time period where, you know, Gilligan's Island was getting 40 million people watching it every week, and but that's when they only had 3 networks,
Right.
So the other 2 networks were splitting the other 60 million people watching, basically.
Yeah.
And now it's all that is torn apart with all these different channels, all these different streaming services. Not to mention, people have the internet. They can go and watch YouTube forever. They can play games, and it's just there's not the same audience out there.
Right.
So you know, when they say the ratings aren't there, maybe that's because there's just not enough people out there to share.
Yeah. And they need to also look into the longevity of a project too, and what it's going to do, what revenue it's going to bring down the road, as well as what it's bringing right now. Because look at me, when I love to binge watch new stuff, I still haven't watched the 2nd season of The Umbrella Academy. I still haven't watched a whole like 5 or 6 seasons of things on Netflix that usually I'd have binged and been done with a long time ago. And I'm going back and watching the first seasons of Survivor, which is like what, 15, 16, 20 years ago now?
Right.
So there is a longevity that I think that production companies need to pay attention to. And that's why I think that even if they had gone another season or 2 of One Day at a Time, even though I think they might be pushing it a little bit past a 4th season, that is something that could still be, you know, bringing in revenue far down the line that would pay back whatever investment was in it. But anyway, with that said, well, thank you, dear Prudy. If anybody wants to comment on anything, please send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Send us what's in your lunchbox. And leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Oh, please become a patron of the show over at patreon.com/MattBurlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swannerandjudd.com. For the written word podcast, or find them in iTunes, iHeartRadio, or print at the Anchorage Press. Find out more about my books over at justkisstheguy.com, and check out my other podcast at biggayshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Woohoo! And with that fabulous note, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.